Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to do something a little different because I got to get out of here because I got to take my dogs to the vet. So I'm going to show you a little bit of pre-recorded footage as our first segment here because a lot of people have been asking me, how are you organizing and hanging the guns in your new gun room? A lot of people have been very curious about not only how am I putting them on the wall, but what order am I putting them in? Am I just slapping them up in any old way that fits, or do I have a rhyme and reason to the way they are put up there? So I thought I'd take you on a little tour of the actual gun room today and show you exactly how I organize my guns. All right, first off, how much space do I have here where I hang things? I have basically 4 4-foot by 8-foot slat wall sections here. The only thing of note in these is that one of the 4x8s is actually split up into 2 4x4s on either side of the door. But other than that, it comes to basically about 4 4x8 sections. Now, the first section is right here behind my workstation. That's where I keep the evil black rifles. You know, they are the scary guns, so I keep them all together. They're not all black. Some of them are brown, but browns are pretty scary too. It's not just the black ones. I don't want to be racist here. Now, next to those, I have the guns that are almost as scary, but they have wood on them. And nobody's afraid of guns with wood on them, so they're not as scary, even though they're just as capable. But I have those over here, and I have some little handguns mixed in, my mouse guns or pocket guns, just to have a place to put them. And then you go over to the third section of long guns, which is actually, the second half of the second section, basically. Now, these are guns that no one's afraid of. They have wood stocks, they're lever actions, they're bolt actions, they're hunting rifles, or they're just a 22 or a 9mm. No one's afraid of a 9mm, no matter how black and scary it is, because it's just a 9mm. Then you move over to the first set of handguns, because like I say, I got 2 sections of the 4x8s that have all long guns, except for a few handguns. And then I have one of the handgun ones here, which is my revolver shelf. Now, as far as how I actually divide these up when it comes to organizing them, like what determines which one goes where, well, first I do by brand. Like first I have my Course. Then I have my Smith & Wessons, and then I have my Dan Wesson, only have one of those, and then I have my Rugers, then my Colts, then my Rugers, and then I have my Chiappas and a couple of other different ones down there at the bottom, not Springfield, my Kimber ones. And as far as how I organize them inside of each brand, well, it goes by caliber. Like if you notice here, it's 500, then 460, and then I get into like the 45s and the 44s, etc. And I organize them that way. And then if I have 2 45s, well, then we go to capacity. If there's one that's 6-shot capacity or 7 and one is 6, well, the 7 would come first. If there's no difference between capacity, or once I have them sorted by capacity, if there's multiples of one that is the same caliber and capacity, well, then they're sorted by barrel length. And that's basically what I take into account. Make, caliber, and then capacity, and then barrel length. And that's how they are all ranked. And I've also got some mare's legs on there, which are technically handguns. They're a pistol, basically. And then over on the third and final wall here, this is my semi-automatic wall, organized the same way. One of them is missing right there. Actually, one of them's in the wrong spot and one of them's missing. This is supposed to be up here, isn't it? No, it's not where it goes. It goes over here, and this one goes over. How did I get those so screwed up? But don't pay attention there. And my FN57 is missing off the wall right there because it's in the house right now to be cleaned. But same thing here, organize them by make, and then by caliber, and then by barrel size. So not a lot of different variation on how I organize them. Basically organize them the same way on this rack as I do on the revolver rack. But that's pretty much how I hang them and how I sort them. I will give you a close-up of the hangers here. I use these. These are cheap hangers that I got from Gun Storage Solutions, I do believe. They're very inexpensive. They're more for retail than they are in for a personal safe, though, because they have that little hook on the bottom for tags. I have some nicer ones that I'm going to be trying pretty soon. Once I try them, I will tell you all about those. But Sporting Systems gave me a couple of samples to try of their stuff because they're going to be dealing with them. So I'm going to try those out. And once I find a place to put them and figure out how to use them and see how much I like them, I'll let you all know about those. But for now, this is basically what I've got. This is how I've got it on the walls. And that is how I organize it as well. All right, now I want to move on to my favorite part of the show, which everyone by now knows is gun talk. And today I want to answer a question I've received a couple of times via email, and someone brought it up during the live chat the other night. I made a post recently saying that I was carrying a Derringer in my car. That's kind of my car gun. Because when I'm sitting, it's kind of hard to get to my carry gun. So I have a little holster on my seatbelt that actually a viewer gave me. It actually slips right on the seatbelt. And when you're in the car, it's kind of like having a gun at cross draw position. And I put my little Bond Arms Derringer in there. And I really like that setup. So someone asked me, well, what would be better? You're using that Derringer. Would you prefer that Derringer, or would you choose like a little micro pistol? Like something like maybe the little Pico here from Beretta over the Derringer that I'm actually carrying here. Well, I'm going to say I'm going to take the Derringer. Even though the little Pico or something similar does have an advantage when it comes to capacity, there's a couple of different reasons I want to stick with the Derringer here. And I'll actually tell you why. The reason I like the Derringer, even though it's only 2 shots, is it's 2 shots of .357 Magnum. Whereas, the Beretta, whatever, it's, 5, 6 shots of .380. You can even get 5 or 6 shots of 9mm in some small guns, but still not as small as this gun. This gun is very small. If you look at these 2 guns side by side here, you'll see they're both very, very tiny. And the Derringer is a little shorter and not as long, but the Pico is super thin. So even though this one has smaller dimensions overall, it's heavier because it's a little thicker and it's all steel. This one's thinner and has a polymer frame, so it's very light. So if you want to actually get a gun as small as the Derringer or anywhere close, you're probably going to have to go down to like a little 32 or a .380. And I would definitely choose 2 rounds of .357 Magnum over 6 shots of .380 or 32. And the main reason is noise and power. Because the way I figure I would ever need this is if my car was ever rushed, and I needed to be able to reach down quickly, pull something out, stick it up against somebody's nose right outside my window and fire off a round or 2. And the reason I would want it to be the .357 Magnum over .38 is because in that situation, I doubt I'm going to have enough rounds for everybody, no matter what I'm carrying. So I want to make it crystal clear to people that not only am I shooting, but someone's been shot. And I don't want to hit someone, 4 or 5 times with a .38 and then they later realize that they've been hit as they're bleeding out. I want someone to know they've been hit, like when you've been shot in the chest with a .357 Magnum. And I want to hear I want people to hear those rounds go off. The .38 special or the .38 380 might get muffled by the sounds of the crowd. .357 Magnum out of a Derringer, crowd ain't muffling it. They're going to hear gunshots and they're going to see people go down, which I think would make them disperse, at least enough for me to get to my carry gun. So I want that power and that kaboom of the .357 Magnum. Because like I said, I want the people outside my car to hear the shots, because the psychology of it is a lot of what's going to make people disperse and get away from your car. Because I'm going to be gunning it the fuck out of there as soon as I have an opening. Because I don't want to stick around long enough for somebody to shoot at me while I'm in my car. But to get my opening, I want to be able to fire off really loud rounds that the people who get hit know they're hit right away. The people with them can see that they're hit, and they have to think a second about what they want to do next. So to answer that question, I would definitely take the 2-shot Derringer even over the other guns, and I have the other guns as options. I don't have holsters for them for my seatbelt like I do this gun. But even if I did, I'd still choose the Derringer, and that's exactly why. All right, everybody, with that being said, I want to close the show today by continuing our new segment, our Pet Rescuer of the Day. And today our Pet Rescuer of the Day is Billy C. And Billy C sent us pictures of Daisy here, who is a German Shepherd and possibly cur mix. And he rescued Daisy, I believe they said, a month ago now. So she is a new addition to their family. I don't know where they came up with the name Daisy, although she is a very pretty puppy. So maybe they named her after that whore, Daisy Duke, on the Dukes of Hazzard. You know, that one was always trying to lure her cousins into some sort of weird sexual three-way thing. It seemed like that's what it seemed like to me anyway. Where everyone knows they were doing each other. They didn't care about her. I don't know if they ever were with a woman even on the show. And I watched the show all the time. I think they were themselves. At least that's what was going on in my head about them. But I think maybe that's why they named her Daisy, because maybe, you know, she's very pretty, so she might be a whore herself. And she is German Shepherd, so it's going to be kinky shit. So make sure you get her fixed. But I wanted to say congratulations to Billy C for being a good human. And I want to say congratulations to Daisy for finding her forever home. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I will sign off by saying, as usual, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, you know, it is what it is. But as long as we keep our heads about us and ignore the fearmongers and the profiteers who want to manipulate us and do what's right, fight hard and smart for the Second Amendment, what things will be very soon for all of us is better.